Switching gears here, presidential hopeful Bernie Sanders says he will release government information about UFOs if he wins. The Vermont senator recently sat down with Joe Rogan for his podcast and said it was his wife Jane who pressed him to do so. This on the heels of the renewed interest in Area 51, the event page which Facebook has since taken down, and numerous military aviators reporting sightings in the air. Joining us now to discuss, legal and media analyst Lionel of Lionel Media. Lionel, my friend, first, address this claim from Bernie Sanders. Do you buy it that he'll release this trove of information, and what do you think will be revealed?
No. He's on Joe Rogan, and I guess instead of firing up a spliff or perhaps providing a stream of F-bombs, he's got to say something that might perhaps connect with Joe's audience, and this is the best that he can get. Let me say something very clearly. The President of the United States has absolutely nothing to do with this. There are levels above top secret that every president has never seen before. So this is just poppycock, as Joe Biden would say.
I see. Okay, so this is just Bernie Sanders trying to connect with the young, hip listeners. Okay, so
something
like that. So right. To the viewers unfamiliar with you, I don't know how they could be unfamiliar with you. You have studied this topic for many years. You and I have actually talked about this stuff through the years. You, along with a lot of other people, believe that this sort of information is kind of the Watergate for the new millennium. Why?
The phrase was coined by one of the great ufologists, Stanton Friedman, that the notion of flying saucers or whatever you want to call it, EBEs, extraterrestrial biological entities, whatever, UFOs, aliens, whatever works for you, that this is the most important story that is hidden, that is the most verboten, vanilla, third-rail subject there is. It is, you could talk about any, quote, conspiracy theory, that term which has been overused.
Sure.
But there isn't a newsroom, with the exception of course, you, but anywhere that would even let you remotely address this unless you made fun of it, sure, mocked it, or in some way dismissed it as something, you know, faddish, if you will.
So, but Lionel, why, though, does the topic of UFOs and EBEs, what you just explained to us, extraterrestrial biological entities, why does it make people in the media giggle? And furthermore, why has there been such reluctance from our government to really address it, especially given all the recent sighting news by pilots all across the country?
First, it makes you wonder, as far as the media, the mainstream media, the regular Ted Baxter media, why they find this to be problematic or funny versus the stuff that they report, I have no idea. But let me explain to you. One of the most important aspects is, why would a government or anybody not want this to be released? First of all, there is not going to be people running out into the streets. Americans in particular do not run, they don't protest, sure, they don't care. They tweet and they do that, number one. Number two, what this poses, if you're talking about electrogravitic, anti-gravitic means of propulsion, do you know what this would do to a world that uses oil and petroleum? Okay, that's number one. By the way, do not worry about this bug flying behind me. That could be,
I saw
think,
something
from the
fly
mothership
across the screen.
Yes, that's from the mothership indeed. Now, in addition to that, one of the biggest reasons, which nobody wants to think about, is that, Manila, if there was ever something, Ronald Reagan talked about it, many people, Eisenhower referenced it, but Reagan in particular said this. If there was something that united mankind as earthlings versus Palestinians or Israelis or Indians or Chinese or Hong Kong or whatever, but if there was a sense of something that blurred the jurisdictional lines and would destroy nationalism and separatism, do you know what this would do to providing a disincentive for all of global platforming and all geopolitical?
That's a good point.
If we all of a sudden said, what are we doing? We're fighting. And in addition, let me throw one at you. You're going to love this. The Vatican, years ago, have said not only is it plausible, Not only is it because they liken these folks maybe to angels, but here's the best one. Drum roll, please.
The Vatican.
If indeed this could ever be provided, would not these creatures, entities, not be subjected to original sin or the need for redemption or the need, because they might indeed, imagine this, imagine truly God's chosen people. Now, let me just put that out. What if earthlings, I mean, this, believe me, it depends how much time and how deep you want to go. This is the most important story there is.
Lionel, this Vatican part kind of blowing my mind, because I guess none of these Christian values or ideologies could be applicable to them.
Well, what happens is, if you think about this, if somebody were, and please, I'm not a theologian, but let me just throw this out there, which might go to explain why people are rather loath to pursue this. But if there is this idea, and mankind is not like the idea that we are just a mere pimple on the backside of some, you know, we love the idea from the days of Ptolemy and Copernicus, we weren't too crazy about him, and Galileo.
Yes.
We like to think that we're the center.
Yes.
But imagine if there were other groups of people that were preferred and did not kill, did not commit war, did not shoot, did not destroy. That's something to be talked about later on, perhaps for a different show. But believe me, that's one of the main motivations at the underpinning of this.
Fascinating stuff. Lionel, I wish we had more time. For now, we'll have to leave it right there, my friend. Lionel of Lionel Media, as always, thank you for sharing your insights with us.